Have you ever stated a point clearly, only for the listener to tell you what you actually meant? Suddenly, you're not explaining your ideas anymore. You're stuck defending a position that you never even held. This happens because of what linguist Antoine Culioli called epilanguage. We all carry a subconscious internal dictionary shaped by our specific experiences. It acts as a personal framework decoding every word we hear. When frameworks clash, listeners use pragmatics, the study of subtext, to play mind reader. They use internal rules to override your explicit clarification, deciding their interpretation matters more than your intent. This creates a fundamental disconnect. We begin to confuse our subjective perspective with objective reality, assuming our interpretation of an event is the event itself. This epilanguage glitch sits underneath almost every misunderstanding, every collapsed conversation, and, as we'll see, every theory in history that has suddenly hit a ceiling. This bias scales up into our institutions. In professional fields, a credential, evidence of passing a program, is often treated as a permanent proxy for competence. We stop checking if the ideas actually work in the real world because the paperwork says they should. You can see this in the friction between academic fields. Traditional linguists often argue that because language is a biological human trait, computer scientists lack the standing to even discuss it. This ignores a massive historical contradiction. The structural foundation of computer science was built by this man, Noam Chomsky. His formal language theories are the bedrock of how we talk to machines. Computer scientists act as applied linguists at a massive scale. They translate meaning through layers of syntax and semantics, from high-level code down to binary, until that meaning triggers a physical machine to act. The fact that the program runs is objective proof that the understanding of language is real. When experts get trapped in their own siloed framework, they often reject functioning reality because it doesn't align with their departmental definitions. Even the greatest minds are vulnerable to this. Albert Einstein was brilliant, rigorous, and honest, but eventually his progress was slowed by a framework he couldn't let go of. Einstein had a philosophical commitment to how the universe worked. To him, the physical world had to be continuous, deterministic, and predictable. Quantum mechanics challenged that view. The experiments provided objective data showing that reality is fundamentally discrete and probabilistic, operating on erratic rules that violated Einstein's need for order. He accepted the math, but spent decades searching for hidden variables to restore his preferred reality, trying to force a discrete universe back into a continuous framework. In 2022, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded for the experimental proof that those hidden variables don't exist. Entanglement is real, and the probabilistic nature of the quantum world is how reality actually works. Einstein struggled with the human limitation of confusing psychological certainty, the feeling of being right, with actual proof. He held a closed dogma about what the universe must be, which made it impossible to accept what the data was saying. Brilliance only takes you as far as your framework allows. Einstein's struggle shows that even the best tools fail when we demand that reality matches our theories, instead of the other way around. When we mistake our interpretation of a thing for the thing itself, we stop seeing the world. We only see the framework we've built around it. Escaping this takes a specific skill called metacognition. It is the practice of watching your own thinking and learning to identify your internal epilanguage while it's still running in the background. We can scale this to intercognition, the ability to see the shared, hidden assumptions that govern entire fields or societal debates before those assumptions close off the questions we're allowed to ask. The goal is the capacity to hold conflicting perspectives in your mind without letting your ego immediately choose one and reject the other. We have to verify our assumptions against objective reality, discarding the ideas that failed the test and trusting the ones that hold up, at least for the moment. Understanding the world requires a shift in priority. Instead of needing to be right, which protects our ego, we have to focus on being accurate, which aligns us with reality. We can follow Einstein's curiosity while learning from the moment he stopped looking at the evidence.